Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me on another episode of The Chamber Within. Being vulnerable used to scare me. I'm sure it scares many people for the obvious reasons: fear of ridicule, being ostracized, and ultimately disconnected when all humans truly want is to be seen, feel connected. Not only that, but to add a layer of disconnect is us being taught to perform and wear a mask every day, to identify as this or that. Any form of identity outside of what we are supposed to choose makes us a weirdo. I've always admired people who embrace who they are fully, sharing thoughts freely, dressing according to their whimsy, and ultimately living a life outside of a cage. The very definition of vulnerable means being susceptible to emotional or physical attack, but now I think it's a superpower. There are changes happening in our world, and the rules of engagement are also changing. We're no longer trusting people who are public facing unless they share some sort of vulnerability with us. We know no one is perfect. We're living without daily doubts, fears, concerns, or regrets. What is true is that we live to the best of our ability in spite of those feelings. The human aspect is what we are looking to connect to nowadays. I know I am. Besides choosing which experiences of mine to share, I also do not polish my words. That would not be me. To edit my podcast within an inch of its life is something I'm just not interested in. You know, I also plan to turn on the camera sometime this year and, frankly, be more vulnerable. You'll see my face and be able to connect with a person who last year had not liked that idea at all. No, ma'am, and no, sir. However, I feel braver than who I used to be such a short time ago. And in doing this, I want to let go of the fear of being seen finally. Not necessarily by my audience, but by people in my life, past or present, who have no idea I'm doing this. Will it leave me open for ridicule and snickering? Possibly, but I no longer care. The more I do speak on the aspect of me that was hidden in the dark, the more I identify with it. So it is inevitable for me to grow into this authentically and to own it. I actually admire the people who do this and not give it a second thought. I am 2 weeks away from sticking with this a full year, and it has changed how I feel about myself. I don't care about the perceptions of those from the past as much as I used to. I have always marched to the beat of my own drum, whether it was played softly at a time to not shake the social boat I was in, or loudly because I was in a good mood and felt safe at the moment. But I have finally found the ensemble I am supposed to be a part of, with whom I am to create music with, and I love the feeling. I was never out of time or off beat. I was just in the wrong orchestra. You know, recently I've been thinking to myself, when you let go of relationships of any kind, you know, whether it was um, your idea or not, you meet new people. And if you have the opportunity to meet new people who are completely different, worlds open up. When you let go, your circumstances change, your direction changes, how you see the world shifts. And if you allow it, magic happens. I love this quote by Anais Nin, where she said, "Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage." Years ago, I came across this and was hopeful that it was true. At that time, for me, it was pure conjecture, but today it has meaning. I really mean it when I say that opening up and being vulnerable is a superpower. So hear me out. If you own something, you're being true to yourself. You're not denying an aspect of yourself that is a part of who you are. There's no room for shaming or ridicule because you stand tall and say, "Yes, that's me." And releasing the shame of my experiences makes me feel stronger in a way that I have not experienced in my life. stronger emotionally, fortified even. Being vulnerable automatically comes with the feeling of fear. And I get that. It's like, okay, guys, I have something to share, but if you laugh, I'm going to run away with my tail between my legs and never speak again. If you accept you, what's in your heart, I have learned that it does not matter if others accept it, if they are gentle with it or not, because you have something that is very powerful, which is self love, love of self. Really quickly, I want to read an excerpt from the book of Love and Creation by Paul Selig. This is from chapter 2, Amplifying Love. Now, if you are operating at a high frequency and someone is sending you negativity, believe it or not, you will not be in congruence with it. It cannot hurt you because you are aligned at a higher frequency that will not accept a distortion of frequency at a lower objectification in energy. So, this is very simply understood to say that when we say love cannot be distorted, we are saying love in its truth is a high frequency. And the high frequency will ennoble itself to support a system from negativity. End quote. So, this is the fortification I was speaking of. Now, does it come with inner self work? Yes. Is it worth the work? Yes. Does it work? Absolutely, yes. I often talk about self love and love, period, and how our options can be boiled down to we're either choosing fear or love. And this is kind of one of those instances. I know I was um, fearful when I started this journey, and for the reasons I just mentioned about, people discovering it because I don't share it with anyone that I'm doing this. But ultimately, the work that goes into the actual practice day to day is how you get from here to there, kind of shedding fear in its various forms. And I am actively doing that in real time. So I love to, just be upfront about this journey. So I'm excited about being on camera later this year. Hopefully it's sooner than later. But ultimately, I want to also ask you, have you ever pushed past the idea of feeling vulnerable? And if so, what occurred? Were you in an encounter that dissuaded you, or did you find a positive outcome on the other side of that? Did your life shrink or expand? Please let me know. You can contact me at thechamberwithin@yahoo.com, or you can leave a message on my YouTube channel at The Chamber Within. Thanks for joining me this week. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. Talk to you later. Bye bye.